All right, I'm here with an updated look at my PlayStation 4 collection for 2020. Every year I do these collection videos for my modern consoles to kind of at the end of the year to wrap up the year. I think this will probably be my last one. I did switch last week, so make sure to check that one out. I don't intend to do anything else collection video wise for the rest of the year. I think Game Room Tour will be next week or the week after, and I might do a Q&A. Let me know if that sounds interesting down in the comments below. I know you guys like the one I did back when I got 2,000 subscribers. But gonna go through my PS4 collection. I think the PS4 is great. It has been my primary console this generation, and I bought the PS5 kind of in a way just as a way to catch up on my PS4 backlog, and because I never got the PS4 Pro, so I'm going through stuff now on PS5, and it's a big jump from the original base model. But I still intend on playing PlayStation 4 games for a good amount of time into the future, so and the games are going to still probably be coming out for another 2 years or so to the system. So I'll go through my collection now, but I think it might be one of my favorite platforms, probably top 5 favorite platforms I'd say in there. It's just been consistently great since like 2016. But jumping in first with the first game, 13 Sentinels Aegis Ring. This game's really excellent. I feel like it goes kind of went under the radar when it came out. This is from Vanillaware, who did like Odin's Sphere, Dragon's Crown, Muramasa, stuff like that. So they're usually known for like more beat 'em up type stuff, but this is actually a more narrative-based science fiction story with some RTS gameplay thrown in. And I know a lot of people might be turned off from the RTS gameplay, but it's pretty solid, it's pretty decent, and I don't think it's the main focus of the game. It's definitely the story, and it's a fantastic art. I don't want to go talking too much about the story, we kind of go into spoilers, but it's really cool, really interesting. It's a decent platinum trophy too, if you want to go for that, if you're interested in that. But really cool game, highly recommended. This currently you can get it, got a lot of places for like $30 on like GameStop. I think Amazon's had it. Best Buy, I've seen it pop up a few places for like $30. I'd recommend it, especially if you're a collector. I feel like something like this is going to go and on to be kind of pricey and expensive moving forward. That might just be me. But I mean, a kind of more niche Japanese title coming out so close to the launch of a new system usually tends to mean that it's going to end up being a little bit hard to come by. But I'd highly recommend it either way, even if you just pick it up digitally. I think it's a gem that I feel is going to go overlooked. And it's really, really great, especially the art. 428 Shibuya Scramble. This game is also great. So this is originally a Wii game in Japan. It came out in 2008, and it's a visual novel in like the strictest sense. I know a lot of people like to say like Danganronpa is a visual novel when it has more gameplay than this does. But it's really cool. It has all these different characters here, and they have like an intertwining story. And the way you do, the choice you make in one story might start like a roadblock in a roadblock, not Roblox, roadblock in the next character's story, and then you might have to go back to the other person's story, make a different choice, so the other person can go move on. So there's a little bit of puzzle solving elements in there as well. The story is really interesting and really cool. So the game is like presented with these live action pictures almost, and it seems like it might feel kind of cheap, but it's actually really cool. This is from Spike Chunsoft, who is pretty well known for their visual novel type games, and it's really great. It's one of the few games from Famitsu that got a perfect 40 out of 40 score, and I don't know if it's perfect by any means, but I think it's really cool and another definite hidden gem on PS4. Batman Arkham Knight. I'm a little bit hit or miss on the Arkham series. I really like Arkham Asylum. I think that game's excellent. But, I don't know, once it went open world, I felt it kind of went open world for open world's sake, and it wasn't as tight as that original game. But not to say the games are bad, I just feel like they would have done better just sticking to the original formula. But that said, I liked this one just fine. Some of the Batmobile stuff with the tank wasn't the best. I didn't get to finish this one because I got a game-breaking bug. That I couldn't finish one of the tasks I had to do. So maybe it's fixed by now. I don't know, but I never got to finish it because it was like something wasn't spawning in that needed to spawn in, so I never got to finish the game, which sucks. But I enjoyed my time with it enough. Batman Telltale series. I thought the first season of the Batman Telltale series was really good. The second season was not good. It started really strong. The first episode of the second season was really strong. And the last episode was all right. But, man, the middle was just like, it went nowhere. Which is really a shame because this first season's great. And, you know, obviously Telltale went out of business. They're done. And they left the second season on a cliffhanger that'll never be resolved. So, what do you have to do? This is one on the backlog. I started it, but then I was not really in the mood for something like this. But Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. This is Koji Igarashi's Kickstarter game that's like a spiritual successor to Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And I've heard good things about it. I was not kind of in the mood for like a 2D game like this when I started it up. But I got this for cheap. I'm going to get to it eventually. I've heard good things, but I just have not gotten to it yet. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. I really liked this. I played I didn't grow up with the original Crash games, but I played them, you know, in my time of collecting and messing around with them. But this is the first time I really sat down and played with them to completion. I finished the second one, maybe the third one on here. I don't know. I gave up on the first one because it was starting to get a little annoying. That game's kind of a pain. It's really hard. But I do come to appreciate these games. They are good. They're good platformers. It's really cool, kind of like almost like in the 90s if Mario would have been 3D, but not open world, more of like a, you know, obstacle based. It's good. I like these games a lot. And I'm looking to get Crash 4 eventually. I've heard good things about it. I'm kind of waiting for more of a sale on that one, but I've heard good things about it. I've heard it's really good. But I like those games a lot. They're pretty good. And you can get that on if you have a PS5, you can get that for free on the PlayStation Plus collection. So highly recommended. Death Stranding. I don't like the term, you know, it's not for everyone because there's nothing on this planet. Nothing on this planet is for everyone. That said, this game's not for everyone, but I really liked it. I thought it was really fascinating. It's definitely something different. It's definitely something unique. And I can understand, it definitely irritated me at times, and I can understand why people didn't see it all the way through. But I played through it all the way to the end, finished it, and really, really enjoyed it. I really thought I was really just fascinated by it. The world it has, and all the weird characters, and the bizarre dialogue and everything. And just the whole overall, it's long. It's way longer than it should be. But, I mean, the whole game overall is just really fascinating to me, and you definitely feel that like 40-hour runtime of the game, but it is worth sticking out, I think, and I think it's really fascinating game. And I don't know how you can make delivering packages into an interesting game for 40 hours, but Kojima did it. He's a madman. I don't know. Destiny, I got this with my PlayStation 4. I didn't get it at launch. I got it 2014. I remember when Destiny came out, it had the white bundle with a white system with the game. That's the PS4 that I got. And I played like maybe an hour or two of this, and it just wasn't for me. Not my type of thing. Devil May Cry HD collection. This is a good collection for the most part. It has a weird thing where a lot of like the cutscenes and a lot of menus and stuff are like pre-rendered. So they're in like 4:3 full screen, and then the gameplay is in like widescreen, 16:9. So it switches between them a lot. It's kind of jarring, kind of weird, but it feels good. It plays good. I messed around with the first one on this and stuff, and I enjoyed it. And it's always good to have these HD collections around for classic games like this. Just a good way to go back without having to pull out the PS2. I mean, I have that stuff readily available, but we're given the option of playing on original hardware or playing a good, faithful port. I would much on more modern hardware with modern conveniences. I would pick the modern hardware with modern conveniences. Devil May Cry 5. This is another one I didn't finish, but I really liked what I played of it. It's a very, very solid, character action game. Feels great to play. Just a lot of fun. I should go back to it. Maybe I'll just replay it from the beginning. I was about 5 hours in or so. I can't imagine it's too long of a game. I really liked it. I don't know why I dropped it, but I got it for like $15 at Black Friday last year, and I certainly enjoyed my time with it. These are more recent editions. I didn't even have these in a pickup video yet. This is the Doom Slayers collection. It has the original 3 Doom games and then Doom 2016. I got this for 15 bucks, I think. Been wanting to play these for a while, so I'm looking forward to jumping into this one eventually. I think this was $16, got Doom Eternal, so I'm set. I got the 2 reboot Doom games, and I'll have to give those a go pretty soon. Dragon Quest Builders. This is a fun one. I never got the second one or anything. I feel like I got my fill from the first one, but this is a fun one. I'm not huge on like Minecraft, but that said, I really enjoyed this game. I think the problem with Minecraft is it doesn't give you enough. I like to be more guided in what I'm doing. I don't like to just go try to make my own fun. So this kind of guides you. It gives you quests. It has like an overarching story. And I think I enjoy that a lot more than just your typical Minecraft game. Another Dragon Quest game here. Dragon Quest Heroes, World Trees Woe, and the Blight Below. Great name. This is a Dragon Quest Musou. If you like that kind of game, you'll like this. It's a good time. Here's a gem. Final Fantasy Remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake. This game's awesome. This game's excellent. 2 discs too in there. But I was really surprised because they announced this back in 2015, and then they're everything they did afterwards kind of killed the hype. I guess 5 years of waiting for this game, and you know, them saying it's episodic, but the episodic way of doing it makes sense now that I know what they're doing. I'm not going to go into spoilers, but there's more to than meets the eye with this particular remake, and I'm interested how they're going to go moving forward with this. But it's really great. It plays great. Switching from turn-based to action combat was a bit risky for something as classic as Final Fantasy VII, but it really works, and it's really solid. And it looks great, except for that one door. Music is phenomenal. All around, just a great time. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is definitely probably my most anticipated game right now. Also got Final Fantasy 12. I've tried several times on PS2 and on PS4 to get into Final Fantasy 12, and I just can't do it. I don't really care for the setting. I don't really care for the gameplay. I don't know what it is. I'm sure I'll try again at some point, and maybe it'll click. But for some reason, I could just never have been able to get into it. I don't know what's wrong with me. More controversial one here, Final Fantasy 15. I really liked Final Fantasy 15. I think it has a lot of flaws, but it is really great. Once again, I mean, I think that it's just enjoyable. The world is really interesting and it's fun to explore. I really liked the mechanics of it. I liked the way the action felt and the combat felt, but I also just really liked the mechanics of kind of almost like a risk-reward type thing where you save up more experience and then you go to stay in the hotel, and certain hotels give you like double XP and stuff, and but you could lose it all if you game over or something. I really liked that as well. I like the story, even though it definitely feels a bit unfinished. It's a really good game, though. And this is also free on PlayStation 5 PS Plus collection. It's really great. And it's a different game now. It's a different game. I played it when it came out. I beat it within a month of launch, and they've added new stuff to it and changed the story. It's a different game now, which is wild. But I really liked what I played back in 2016. Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. This is another one I couldn't get into. I turned it on, started playing it, and I was like, yep, I don't think so. I'm not into this one. It's weird to have a Final Fantasy game rated M. I just noticed that this game's rated M. That's weird. But yeah, I started it up, and I was like, I don't think so. And I just deleted my trophies from it, and I was like, yep, don't need to touch that one again. Maybe I will again one day. I don't know. I've heard people really like this one, and this was for a while really requested to come out in the United States, but I don't know. It didn't do it for me. Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. So this is developed by Ryuga Gotoku Studio, which is the Yakuza development studio. So this is a Fist of the North Star game that takes some elements from Yakuza, and I've not seen the Fist of the North Star anime. I think it's on like Amazon Prime or Hulu. I should probably just watch it because I'd like to play this. I guess it plays a lot like Yakuza, and I'd like to give this one a go. I got this one for pretty cheap though, and I'm a big fan of the studio, so I knew I would like it eventually. Ghost of Tsushima. This game's really great. This is one of the best on the PlayStation 4. This is one of the best looking games ever. Even if the character models look a little weird, the environments are just so well crafted. It's really great. And I wasn't like a big fan of Infamous, which is Sucker Punch's last series. I played a little bit of the PS4 game, and I played some of the PS3 game, and neither of them really clicked with me that much. But this game is great. It feels great to play. I really like the combat. It definitely feels a bit more realistic. I really enjoyed this game. I did not finish it because I held off. I was like halfway through the game maybe, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to save this for PS5 and, play it in 4K. They actually gave it an update, so it's in 60 frames a second now. So I'm looking forward to jumping back into this one. But I actually saved this game. I was like, I don't want to play this on my poverty tier base PlayStation 4 any longer. God of War. This is another one. This came out, and I played a few hours of it, really enjoyed it, and then it came out at a bad time. It came out when I was like moving back in 2018, so I was just busy. It came out right before I went to Japan in 2018, and then I moved, and then I was playing Yakuza 6. So I didn't give this one a fair shake. I think this one's free on the PlayStation Plus one, but this is pretty high on my backlog now. I figured once I was like, yeah, I'm going to go play that. I was like, you know what? I should probably just wait till PlayStation 5. So a lot of my backlog games were games where I'm like, I think I'll just wait for PlayStation 5 on that one. So looking forward to jumping in this one. I really liked what I played of it, and I never really liked the other God of War games previously. I got here Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. I paid like $5 for this game at GameStop. Once again, this is another one that I've tried like twice with, and it didn't really click with me. I can understand it's a good game. Something about the UI wasn't interesting, and I don't know. I'd like to try this one again now that, once again, the sequel's coming out and everything. But what I played of it so far did not thrill me, although I can see where it's going, and I'm interested in where it's going at the very least. Judgment. This one's really good. So this is this takes place in the same universe as the Sega's Yakuza series, but it has a different main protagonist. He's not, a Yakuza. He's a detective, private investigator. And it's really good. I mean, the story, I feel like each game from the Yakuza studio is increasingly better in story. I feel like they've really kind of gone from, all right, this story's okay, to like really strong, really solid stories. And this game definitely has a really strong story. Yakuza Like a Dragon, which we'll get into, has a really strong story. This game's great. It plays more like a traditional Yakuza game, but you don't need to play any of those games to understand this one. This is its own thing. It takes place in the same world and on the same map, but it has all different kind of stuff on it. It's really great. And I feel like this is another one that kind of went under the radar. Not as many people talk about that one as they do just regular Yakuza. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 2.5 Remix. I don't really think the first Kingdom Hearts game is very good. The second one's fun, but I think the first one's kind of rough. And I'm like a weird... I wouldn't say I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. I enjoy the games. I think they're enjoyable. I don't care about the story. I'm not going to play any of these spin-off games. I promise you, I will not play any of the spin-off games. I don't care that much. Just like I have this 2.8. I don't even remember. I think I got this from Amazon when they did that Prime Day glitch, and I got this for like $6 or something. It says, Kingdom Hearts Point 2, Birth by Sleep, A Fragmentary Passage is one of my favorite game titles. Actually, I won't say that I wouldn't, because if I'm going to play any, I'd probably play Dream Drop Distance HD on there. But Kingdom Hearts 3, on the other hand, I played all the way through this one when it came out. I know a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans were disappointed by it, but I'm kind of smooth brain when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, so I'm just kind of sitting there like, this is fun. Oh, there's Olaf. Now I'm beating stuff up now. I got some RPG mechanics. There's, Woody and Buzz. There they are. Monsters, Inc. Yay. I had a good time with it. I don't know. I don't care about the story, but as far as as far as gameplay and worlds go, I thought it was a good time. I don't know. KNACK. Oh, yeah. KNACK, baby. KNACK is like kind of like the savior of the PlayStation. Because I know that they were gonna get rid of PlayStation until Mark Cerny came in and he said, "Look at this, guys." And once all the guys at Sony, all the guys at PlayStation saw KNACK, they were like, "We got to keep going. We got to keep making PlayStation." True story. That's definitely real. KNACK 2, then they really elevated it with KNACK 2. I mean, the story really ramps up. It really is crazy. Some of the stuff they do with KNACK. KNACK is really just, better than Mario easily. KNACK's incredible. Moving on to not as good of a game, The Last of Us Remastered. I think the original Last of Us, I went like a long time ago in the past. I kind of was trying to be edgy and controversial and be like, oh, this game's kind of overrated. And I think this is a really strong game. I just think it's really good now. I replayed it last year to prepare for the second game. So I really enjoyed replaying it. I think it's really narratively strong. I think it's really, environmentally strong. I think gameplay could be better. I think in like AI could be better, but as far as this stuff goes, I think it's a very strong game. And a more controversial game, The Last of Us Part 2, my stance on this game is that I don't think it's in a lot of ways as good as the first game. Gameplays wise, I'd say this game is much better than the first game. It's more gamey. There's a lot. The stealth elements are more engaging. The shooting is more engaging. But man, the story, I feel like there's a lot of good parts to the story. There's a lot of weak parts to the story. There's a lot of missed potential for the story. I don't want to spoil too much. And I feel like it's way too long. The pacing's poor. But I don't know. From playing this game, it feels good to play. The environments are second to none. I mean, this game is incredible environment-wise. It's really, really amazing just what Naughty Dog is able to do with their environments. And you see that with Uncharted 4, but this is on a different level. This game environmentally and just the way the world is crafted, where it's like so much ridiculous detail, is amazing. But a lot of weird story choices, and I'm not even talking the big one that really was controversial, but just some of the way that the story's presented is very strange. But I think it's a good game. I think it has problems, but I mean, the people who are like, this is the worst game ever, 0 out of 10, I think are out of their mind, because it's still, I would say, almost objectively a good game. You could argue that it's not a good story, but I mean, it's a good game for what I have to say. I'm digging myself a hole because people really hate this game, and I understand why people could be disappointed with it, but the hate for it is a little strong, I think. But I'm digging myself a hole. I'm gonna dig myself out. I got a stack of Lego games. I don't know. These games are fun. They're all kind of the same thing, but I like going for the platinums in them. I don't know. They're just fun to like throw a podcast or YouTube videos on and just, mess around with while you're, grinding out the different levels and collectibles and stuff. We don't get too many collectathon platformers anymore. So they're a good time, but Life is Strange. This game grew on me. I didn't really like it when I first started playing it, but I stuck with it and I began to really appreciate it. I think this game is, it's really good. I think, I don't know. It's a good story. Some of the writing's kind of bad, a little bit embarrassing, but I like the game a lot. I haven't played the sequel yet. I picked this up on sale and I want to play it really soon. The PS4 backlog is immense, I gotta say. 2021, they need to stop releasing games so I can just get through my backlog. But I've heard good things about this one, not as much as the first game. This game kind of came and went, but I heard there were some people, that I follow that did enjoy the game. So I'm going to get to it eventually. There's also Life is Strange Before the Storm. This is a kind of prequel to the original game, focused on a character that I don't actually like from the original game. They make the character more likable though, but I think this is actually definitely worth playing. It's kind of a weird case because it's not developed by the original developer. Don't nod. It's developed by Deck 9, who I believe is in like Colorado or Utah or something weird like that. It doesn't have, there was a voice actor strike, the union strike back when this game was recording. So it doesn't have any of the original voice actors. So it feels a little off, but it's still a good game, I think. And it's worth playing if you enjoyed the first one. I just got this one for $10 on GameStop. I kind of just added to my cart because I had to get free shipping. I needed $5 to get free shipping. I'm like, oh, this will be fun. So I want to play this one maybe around like Halloween next year or something. But it's a remake of the classic PS1 game Medieval. Moving on with Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. This was such a stupid thing. This was like at the beginning of the end for Konami. Such a stupid thing to have this like prologue be a $30 game or whatever. As dust flying away. Have this prologue be like a $30 game. I don't know. Metal Gear Solid 5 was a bit of a mess. And I liked Phantom Pain. I didn't finish it because I was like, you know what, this story's going nowhere. I've had my fill of the gameplay. I thought the gameplay was great. I mean, it's a really impressive game. The stuff you can do in this game is really impressive. It's pretty incredible, but I was like, you know, I think I've had my fill of the gameplay. I don't care about the story. I think I'm done. And I'm a big Metal Gear Solid fan, so that means it's kind of a big deal. Although, I don't know, maybe they kind of lost. They started losing me. I didn't really like 4 either, so I don't know. Metal Wolf Chaos XD, this was $6 at Best Buy, and I got free shipping. And I was like, you know what, this will make fun for a... This is an old From Software game that was released only on the Xbox, only in Japan, so it probably sold like 2 copies. But it was like in English. It's kind of like a meme game, in a way. You play as the President of the United States who's in like a mech. It's definitely an interesting time. Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor. I am not really into Lord of the Rings, but I gotta say, this was a pretty cool game when it came out. I haven't revisited it since it came out, but it was a pretty cool game. It had that cool Nemesis system, which no one ever ended up doing anything with, although I'm surprised that there was ever like a Batman game or anything with that system. I don't know. But really cool, interesting game. I remember this being one of like the big standout games from early on in the gen. Monster Hunter World. I have friends who are really into Monster Hunter, so every time one comes out, I try it, and then I'm like, I don't have the patience for this. You have to have like the patience of like a saint to get into this, I think. I don't know. It's free on the PlayStation 5 thing, so maybe worth a go, but I like it in theory. I don't have, I like, I don't know. I like to play like a more story-based game than do something like this where you're redoing missions and grinding and all that. Probably at the top of my PS4 backlog, Nier Automata. This just came out at a really bad time for me. It came out like right after Breath of the Wild came out, and then right before Persona 5 came out. So like those are my 2 most anticipated games of 2017, and this game just kind of completely got buried. And I've heard great things, and I played opening hours of this game, and I was really impressed with it. But I got to get back in, restart it, and give it a go because I've heard nothing but excellent things about it. Ni no Kuni 2, this is still sealed. You can see I got it at Target on clearance for $9.98. I heard good things about Ni no Kuni 2, so I figured for $10, you know, whenever I get around to it, it's worth a shot. Okami HD, this is another game that I've tried a couple times to get into with the Wii version and the PS3 version and this version. And one day I will, because this is definitely a game that I would like. I just never feel like it's the right time when I start playing it. But, you know, one day I will dive into it. You can hear my PS5 fan over there. I have the system on, just on the menu, and it's just, you know, running away. I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but I don't know. It's just going. It's the disk drive just spinning. Who knows? Ratchet and Clank, the remake of the PS2 game. This came out when the movie came out, which is kind of funny to me because I feel like no one cared about that movie one bit. But this remake's really good. It looks great. It plays great. It's a really good remake, and I'm excited for the PlayStation 5 Ratchet and Clank game. Resident Evil 2. This is one of my favorite games of the generation because this game is just stellar. I mean, from like stem to stern, this game is stellar. One of the best designed games just of the generation. It's just so good. I mean, this was definitely my favorite game of 2019. And it came out in January, so it had a long time to not become that. But it's just such a strong title. Definitely one of the best games of the whole generation in my eyes. It really just shows, ever since Capcom released Resident Evil 7 back in 2017, they've just been killing it. I mean, and they had the leak of their, you know, upcoming titles come out, and it looks like they have no plans of stopping. Absolutely killing it. And you can get this game really cheap now, and I highly recommend it. It's excellent. Resident Evil 3. This one I still liked quite a bit. I didn't like it as much as 2. I don't think anyone did, but it's still strong. It's still solid. It's a lot shorter than 2. It's about 8. I think it took me about 8 hours to finish. So it was like kind of a weekend game. You can get this one for pretty cheap now too, about $15 to $20. I saw it going for Black Friday. And I think that's worth it. They tacked on like this multiplayer mode that I never even tried. I didn't even care to try it. It didn't look too interesting to me. And I think that's why they were trying to charge $60 for it. But I feel like they should have come out the gate with like maybe $40 for this game. But you can get it cheap now, and it's excellent. Not quite as good as 2. A little bit more actiony. So if you didn't like 2, you don't like the more survival horror nature of 2. It's not as action based as like 4 or 5. Definitely not 5, but not as action based as 4. But it's certainly heading more that way. And the Resident Evil 4 remake has been leaked, so it looks like they were kind of doing that on purpose, it would look like. Resident Evil 7, another one high on the backlog. I've tried to start this game a few times, and this is the only... I've played a lot of horror games, and I like horror games quite a bit, especially Resident Evil, but this is one of the few horror games that really actually is scary, in my opinion. And I think it's just kind of like being stalked by the different people in the house is what gets to me. I don't know, but I guess the first person too. But what I've played of it is great, and I want to play more of it. And I definitely want to. I'm definitely gonna play through it before 8 comes out, which it looks like probably next year. Resident Evil Revelations 2. I got this for cheap. It's still sealed. I don't know if I'll ever get to it. This was kind of... I liked the first Resident Evil Revelations on the 3DS, but I didn't hear much good about the second one. Robotics Notes, Elite Pack, Double Pack has Elite and Dash, 2 Robotics Notes games. These are 2 visual novels in the same overall series of the science adventure series that like Steins Gate is in. I kind of just picked this up because I wanted to have it because I feel like it was going to be hard to get at some point. I would like to play these. I do like visual novels, and I do like Steins Gate. Rock Band 4. This game was kind of doomed to fail when it came out. I think I got this not even a year after it came out. I think like maybe 4 months after it came out on Best Buy with the guitar for like $40 or something. And the game came out at $130 or something with the guitar. It was expensive. It put Mad Catz like out of business. I don't know if they ever came back, but I think it actually like bankrupted them. You could definitely tell that they didn't have the budget because the set list is not that good. But you know, obviously you can still buy all those songs on the Rock Band store. I don't think there was very many of them taken off. So if you're into Rock Band like me, like I am, I would recommend this one. It's a little hard to track down a copy of the game now, and they go for about $30-$40 for the used copy, just the game. But I liked it quite a bit. Just having it on a modern system, I guess, I bought maybe $30 worth of songs, and probably about more like $20 worth of songs. And I enjoyed it. I really like Rock Band. I really like Guitar Hero. There was a period of my life where I just played nothing but those games in like 2010. So maybe I'm not the one to talk, but I enjoyed it. Although the set list on the disc is certainly weak. I kind of picked this up just to support this and kind of support what Sega's been doing with trying to experiment with other series. What I played of it, I liked it, but I was in the middle of playing something else and just didn't get back to this. But I mean, Sakura Wars has been a long-running Sega series, and this is the newest one, kind of. And I think this is only the second one released in the United States. The first one was released on the Wii in the United States. Not the first game. The first entry of the series to be released in the United States was on the Wii. But this seems like, I think it's called New Sakura Wars in Japan, so it's almost like kind of like a reboot in a way, seems like. Secret of Mana. I got this another one for really cheap. It's still sealed. I'll probably just keep it sealed. I didn't hear anything good about this. But I think I got this for like maybe $5 at GameStop. It was only at GameStop, but this cover art's classic. This is a remake that no one really had anything good to say about, but just cool. It's still cool to have. Oops, something fell out of that one. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I really liked the Tomb Raider 2013 and Rise of the Tomb Raider. I thought those games were both excellent. And then when this came out, I started it up and I was like, yeah, this is more Tomb Raider, I guess. This is one I'd like to get back to eventually, but it's not too high on the list. Although I feel like I don't think we're going to get a Tomb Raider game anytime soon. So the Square Enix's Western studios aren't exactly doing great right now. So I don't feel like we're going to get Tomb Raider anytime soon, but so I'm sure I'll go to this eventually, get back to this eventually, but I can't say it's as high on the list as other games. Shenmue 1 and 2. So I really like Shenmue. It's definitely an acquired taste, but there's just something kind of relaxing about it. I don't know. There's not much to it. Not much is going on. It's not, entertaining for a lot of people, I don't think, but I really like it. And it's so amazing that this is a game from 1999. I mean, it is such an impressive game to be, from the Dreamcast era, on the Dreamcast. It's pretty incredible. I haven't played Shenmue 2, only the first one, but really, really impressive game. Really, really cool stuff. And I can understand why people wouldn't like it, but I don't know. I think I just really like it just because of how impressive it is for when it came out. It's definitely a huge leap forward for games in a lot of ways. Shenmue 3, this was discounted before it came out on Black Friday, so I picked it up because out of pity almost. I don't know. It was like really cheap before the game even came out. I don't know. Another year that I've not played Sleeping Dogs. I've had this game forever. I got it for like $5 on Square Enix's Black Friday deal. They used to do a Black Friday sale on their store, and I got a bunch of stuff from them. And this is one of them I got because I heard good things, and I've just not, gotten to it yet. And it feels like every year I do the PS4 video, it's just still sitting there, making fun of me that I've not gotten to it yet. So who knows? We have here Insomniac's Spider-Man game. This game's a blast. This is one of the best, I guess, games to control. It just feels so good to play. Feels so good to control. It's really awesome. I really liked the story as far as it went, and there's not really much not to like. I didn't really care for like the weird forced stealth sections, and he had that puzzle, those puzzles that you do in like Doc Ock's lab, where you could just skip them if you wanted to. Insomniac's like, no one's going to want to play this. You can skip this if you want to. They definitely trimmed the fat in Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I played on PlayStation 5, and that's great. I'm glad they trimmed the fat because it was a little rough, but cool game. Really, really like it. One of PlayStation 4's best, for sure. So this one might be a little bit weird. Why do I own a SpongeBob game? So SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is a game from 2003 for the GameCube, PS2, Xbox. And this was actually the first game I got with my GameCube when I got it. And it's a really good platformer. It's not amazing. You're not going to get some kind of transcendent platforming experience, but it's kind of like a Mario 64 Banjo-Kazooie type platformer with SpongeBob characters and SpongeBob locations. And it's fun. This is a good remake. I mean, the game's good enough that it got a remake, which is weird for a licensed game from that era. But I think you can. This is only $30 to start out with, and it looks really nice. It looks like it really pops. It looks really cartoony. It looks like that. Not quite, but kind of like the movie, the newest SpongeBob movie. I don't know if that came out ever. I remember seeing ads for it in the theaters, but I don't think it ever came out because of certain reasons. But this is only came out at like $30. I think you can get it for probably about $20 now. But especially if you have kids or if you grew up watching the show like I did, or if you just really don't care too much about the show and you want a solid 3D platformer for Xbox One, PS4, or Switch, I'd recommend it. It is a good time. Don't let its licensed nature betray it, because most licensed games are not good, but that is a deceptively good platformer for what it is. And it's a fun platinum trophy as well. So keep that in mind if you like those. Spyro Reignited Trilogy. This was really good. I think I like Crash better than Spyro, those games, but Activision's really, come back with these games and really made them look good and made them play well. And they hold up. They're fun games. This was another years past Black Friday deal. Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness. Star Ocean's a cool series, like a cool RPG series, and it seems like it's just going nowhere. And no one liked this game, I don't think. So I don't suspect it'll be going anywhere anytime soon. Star Wars Battlefront. I enjoyed the first Battlefront, although they did that thing where, the game's $60 And to get way more content than felt like it was on the game, you have to pay for the $50 pass, the DLC pass, which is ridiculous. You can get this game now for like $3, but this game, it's good, it's fun, it's a fun online multiplayer game, and that's coming from me who doesn't play online multiplayer games very often. I would definitely recommend it if you can get it for like cheap, and you can. So, but keep in mind though that they have a really terrible. I don't know if that content ever got added in later or anything. I never followed it that much further, but yeah, that really put like a huge just stain on the game. Just that there's so much more quality content locked behind a huge paywall. But you know, that's EA for you. Another that's EA for you game. I got this one. My friend bought a PS4 and it came bundled with this. And he didn't care about it. I told him I told him I'd pay him like whatever GameStop pays in trade for it. I'd give him cash. I think it's like $8 or something, or $10. So I bought it off of him. I intending to play the story mode, but then I heard the story mode was like laughably awful, so I just didn't. But I really liked what I played of the online multiplayer. Once again, this was after like all the loot box crap got fixed. So that's good. But once again, I thought this was an enjoyable game. It looked good. It really felt like true to form to Star Wars. I didn't play it for too long or anything. I kind of spent like a weekend with it. But what I played was interesting. And you can get that one for cheap too. I think it has I think, you know, the game's kind of quietly garnered a fan base of really, you know, people who are really happy with it now that they dumped a lot of the, you know, the microtransaction stuff out of it. So, I don't know, it might be worth picking up if it's cheap. Jedi Fallen Order. So I heard a lot of people really love this game. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, single player Star Wars game. We haven't had a good one in a long time, since like the first Force Unleashed. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm in. Respawn's a good developer. And then I played this game for like an hour. I fell through the floor like 3 times. And I was just so bored with like the cutscenes and the characters. I'm like, what is this? I don't know. I'll have to give it another shot, but I saw a lot of people being like, this game's amazing. This game's awesome. I'm like, did we play the same game? Cause I was not too impressed with what I saw, but, Steins Gate Zero, I recently back in September played through the original Steins Gate, and I thought it was excellent. It's a fantastic game. Yeah, I had it on PS3. I played it. And so I picked up a sealed copy of Steins Gate Zero on eBay, really high up on the list on the backlog. I also picked up this. It was like on clearance at Best Buy, Steins Gate Elite. So this is a kind of a remake of the original game, but instead of like, you know, static visual novel, you know, character portraits, it is like scenes from the anime. I've heard people say this is good, but it's not the best way to play it originally, and I would agree. From what I can tell from this game, it is not the best way to play it, because there's a lot more content that makes a lot more sense that's in the original game, rather than, you know, what they could use from the anime. But I've still heard that this is good, you know, going through it on maybe a second playthrough. I mainly got this because it's the only way to get the Steins Gate game linear bounded phenogram. So I kind of grabbed this for cheap on Best Buy clearance, just to make sure I could lock down the code for that game, which I did. It expires in like 2021 or something like that, 21-22, something like that. So I claimed that. I have that on my PS5 now. So that's one I'd like to check out. From what I can tell, it is like a kind of series of short stories is what I was about to say, that takes place in the Steins Gate universe, written by a bunch of different, you know, prolific writers, Japanese writers, either in visual novel or like manga and anime. One of which I think was Uchikochi from like AI, the Somnium Files, and Zero Escape. So that's cool. Got this one really cheap lately, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Haven't got to it yet. I think it was like $15. I figured I really like Tales games. I have Tales of Vesperia on 360, but this Definitive Edition was good. This is the first time it was ever on PlayStation, and I figured I'd just pick it up. I really there hasn't been a good Tales game in a while. It's been since 2017. I didn't play Berseria. I was really into them, but I started to kind of fall off. Last time I played was like Xillia for any amount of time. I still have Xillia 2 sealed even. But I would like to play that because I never played all the way through Vesperia because that it was on 360, and I didn't have a 360 till a lot later. Tales of Zestiria, I didn't like this one at all, and I don't think many people did, because I don't really see too many people talking about this one, but I did not like this one. And I heard Berseria was good. I would like to get that one. I just haven't yet. Uncharted Nathan Drake collection. This is a great collection of the first 3 games, which I think are great. I think my favorite of the PS3 games is still Uncharted 3. I know that's not popular, but I just feel like the whole series gets better and better as it goes on. But yeah, these games are great. You can get this for dirt cheap if for some reason you've not played the Uncharted trilogy. It's excellent. It's a ton of fun. I'd highly recommend it. Same thing with Uncharted 4, which I feel is the best Uncharted game. Really, really great. I think this game is, gorgeous. Naughty Dog really knows how to do visual fidelity, and they really know how to design a world and craft a narrative and make interesting characters. You can maybe argue that their gameplay isn't the best, and maybe a bit basic, which I would probably agree with to an extent. Although I feel like these games are all fun, whether it be Last of Us or Uncharted. But Uncharted 4 is excellent. It's one of the PlayStation 4's very best games. And then this one just, I don't know what happened with me in this game. But Uncharted Lost Legacy, I picked this one up like when it came out, and I played like maybe a couple hours, 4 hours maybe, and I was like, I'm just not feeling it with this one. I don't know what it was. No one leave in the comments because I hate women or something, because I don't. I just really was like, I don't know, this just doesn't feel the same without Nathan Drake. It doesn't feel the same. It feels kind of like all of the maybe middle moments of an Uncharted game, like not with all the awesome set pieces and stuff. It felt like all the in-between moments in an Uncharted game without really any of the excitement. And I never finished it, so maybe I should finish it, but I'm going to go back to it one day, I'm sure. Until Dawn, I heard great things about this. This is another game I got for $5. You got to start PS4 collecting, because you can get the great games for so cheap. I got this for like $5 at Best Buy. I've heard great things. I probably won't open this copy because I have the game on PlayStation Plus now. So I might as well just keep this sealed and play it off the system. But heard great things. Would like to play that one eventually. Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0 is awesome. I feel like this game was just the right game at the right time. Because Yakuza... my first Yakuza game was Yakuza 3 on PS3. And I played 4. And then this game came out. Those games were never popular. Yakuza 5 came out digitally only in the United States on PS3. So those games were just never popular. And then I think that this is just a great game that came out at the perfect time. It came out January of 2017. So it was just, nothing comes out. This was like kind of the beginning of January games. Nothing ever came out in January before. And it's just, right game at the right time. It's an excellent game. It's a lot of fun. It's really, the wacky when it needs to be, really serious when it needs to be. It's just a great time. The little side mini games are awesome. This series is all great. And you can play all of them, all the important mainline games on the PS4, which is fantastic. But yeah, this game definitely kickstarted the series. I think all the Yakuza games are great. Kiwami 1 is kind of an exception to that. I mean, I don't think it's not great, but I think it's weaker than a lot of other games. But this game is a remake of the original PS2 game. And it's definitely, you can definitely tell it's a remake of a PS2 game. So it's not as, vast as some of the other games, but the game launched at $30. You can get it for $20 now. You can get it for these games go on sale a lot on the PSN now. So you can get this game for last time I saw it was $6 for this game and $8 for Yakuza 0. Great deals. I would recommend this series wholeheartedly. And you can get the whole series if you're watching for sales on PSN. You can get the whole series for under $100 for 1 through 6, which is crazy. Yakuza Kiwami 2, on the other hand, is not at all like Kiwami 1. It is in the updated Dragon engine, that's what they call it. And it's really excellent. They added a whole bunch of new content to it. And it's really great. I mean, it's just still the same story, a lot of, the same beats and characters and everything, but really, really awesome stuff. Fantastic game. And then I'm going to go ahead. Some games I put at the end if they're in unusually sized boxes or steel books because they don't match with the plastic cases. So I still have some games to go, even at Y is at the end of the alphabet. But this is then the Yakuza Remastered Collection. This has the PS3 games, 3, 4, and 5 remastered for PlayStation 4. And you can get this now for like, I think I saw it like $25 for all 3 games on sale on PSN. But I think this regularly is $60, although I think they dropped it down to $40. But this is really cool as well. This is a cool bundle. I don't know if you can get the set anymore, if it just comes in a normal case. But another cool one there. So yeah, like I said, you can get the whole series. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now 6, which was the first of the games in the new engine. Previously mentioned game Judgment is also in this Dragon engine. And Yakuza 6, a lot of people don't like the story as much, but I really think that it's still great. I got the platinum in this one because I thought the side content was great. I really liked the town they added, the small port town, Onamichi they call it, and really, really cool stuff. I like 6, although I do agree it's maybe not the best ending to Kazuma Kiryu's saga, but nonetheless, still a good game overall. And then this is, I got this when I was in Japan. This is Yakuza Ishin, which is a, ancient, it's like, it takes place in ancient Japan, and each of the, classic Yakuza characters plays like a different part of like a classic, character from like Japanese history type thing. I haven't played this one yet because there's no English in it at all, which obviously puts a damper on me playing it anytime soon. But I know a lot of people want a translation of that game. I think it's probably not going to happen, but we'll have to see. And then one I've been playing recently, Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's just so good. So this one, they decided to just change it up completely. New protagonist, Kiryu's saga is done. But not only is it a new protagonist, it's also turn-based combat. So it's a turn-based RPG now. And I know that'll probably turn a lot of people off because the original games were more brawlers. But the turn-based combat's really fun. It still really keeps like the spirit of the original games. And it makes sense. It really just makes sense with everything it does with this combat. It's really cool. I really like this game a lot. The side content is, peak Yakuza. It's really cool because, their old games, there was other characters, but there wasn't as much focus on them. It was always on, whoever the main protagonist you were playing as, whether it be Kiryu or Majima on 0 or, Akiyama on 4 or Saejima on 4 or that police officer no one remembers in 4. But it's cool that there's a party, because it's an RPG, there's a party and there's several different characters that all are important to the main story. And, it's really awesome. Yakuza is in a cool situation where they can, they have 2 different Yakuzas essentially. You can maybe remake 3, 4, and 5 under like that, Kiwami brand, or they can keep doing sequels to Judgment, which keep the brawler gameplay, and then they can keep Yakuza being turn-based now with the new protagonist. Really, really cool either way. It feels like very, very cool that they can kind of move forward and have totally different games because they were starting to feel a little bit samey in a sense. And I still think they're a lot of fun, but there's a lot of the same gameplay, a lot of the same elements, even if a lot of the side content is way different. It's cool that they can kind of now diversify a little bit. Ukulele. I kickstarted this game actually. I gave $8 or whatever, £5, and it is a lot of the former Rareware staff went over to this and started their own company, Platonic, here, and wanted to make like a Banjo-Kazooie spiritual successor. And this game it's a good first attempt. It's not great. The game's not great. And it looks good. It looks the part. It feels the part. The music definitely plays the part of a successor to Banjo-Kazooie. They all nail that, but I don't think the level design is very good. And sometimes it got a little frustrating. But on the other hand, they made not really a sequel as much as just a follow-up. So Yooka-Laylee and the Possible Lair is a 2D platformer that's a lot like the Donkey Kong Country games. It's a lot like, especially Returns and Tropical Freeze. It's a lot like those games, and it's really great. This one is actually a really solid 2D platformer. You can get it for really cheap. But this is actually a really solid 2D platformer, and I recommend it. This is another, I got this, $5.98, Zone of the Enders Second Runner, Mars with, I got this on clearance for $5.98. I don't know. Bayonetta and Vanquish double pack. This is great. This is a great double pack. So these are two Platinum Games games that were published by Sega, and Sega just decided to throw them on a double pack. They don't really have much to do with each other, but Sega still has the publishing rights to Bayonetta 1, so they figured why not. But Vanquish, on the other hand, I mean, Bayonetta, the first game's great, everyone knows it, but Vanquish, on the other hand, is a lot different than the other Platinum Games games, because instead of being like a hack and slash, it's a third-person shooter, and it's one of the best playing third-person shooters out there. It's really arcadey. It's really short. It's like 5 hours long. It's really arcadey. It's really just a blast to play through. Vanquish is one of the best Platinum Games games, and I feel like it's one of the most overlooked ones. It's definitely really underrated, and it's I think Shinji Mikami directed it. I think it was his last thing before he left Platinum Games to go to Tango. I might be wrong about that, but it's excellent. Vanquish is great. I'm going through my Steelbook games now, if you didn't notice, so if I missed anything that I should have in my collection, it might be my Steelbook collection, so we'll have to see. Catherine Full Body, I really think this game is really unique and really excellent. I've talked about this game a lot on my channel. It's in my underrated games from the 2010s video. It's in my Switch video last week, but really unique. It has like Qbert-like gameplay. It's developed by P Studio under Atlas, so the team that did Persona and the Persona games, they developed this between 4 and 5, originally for the PS3. This is an updated version with a new character, but this game's great. It's really unique. There's nothing else like it. The story's really, and the characters are really engaging. I really like this game. Starting to fall apart here. All right, move that so it doesn't. So Persona 5. So my thing with Persona 5 is it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's a top 3 for sure. But I don't recommend playing original base model Persona 5 anymore. Even if it is free on the PlayStation Plus collection, I recommend highly playing Persona 5 Royal instead. This is an updated version released about 3 years later. Get this standing up better. It's released about 3 years later. And it is better in every way. It adds a whole bunch of quality of life improvements. It is adds new characters. It fleshes out stories of different old characters. It's really, really clever with everything it does, and it ties in everything really great. And I highly recommend it. I recommend you play this version first as your first experience with the game. If you played the original game and are unsure if you should play this, if the new content's worthwhile, you start seeing new content pretty quickly, and then the final semester that they added is really, really good. Like, really, really good. So I highly recommend it. Persona 5 Royal is, I think, the best game on PlayStation 4, bar none. And one of the best JRPGs of all time. So highly recommended there. I also have Persona 3 and Persona 5 dancing games. And these are a little lighter on content than the Dancing All Night 4 game was. And you can get this package for like $20 now at GameStop or whatever. I really like these games. It came out originally at $100. I think I paid $60 for this because Amazon mispriced it, which I think is more worth it because it has 3, 4, and 5 all on here. But I really like these games. I really like the idea of celebrating a series' music with like a rhythm game, and I wish more series did that. The only other real company who's doing this is Square Enix with Theatrhythm Final Fantasy, Theatrhythm Dragon Quest, the new Kingdom Hearts rhythm game. And I wish more series would do this. And as far as this, I still jump on these games pretty frequently and just mess around for a few songs, just do a few songs. I really like these. Some good remixes. And finally, almost an hour, Valkyria Chronicles Remastered. Valkyria Chronicles is one of Sega's most underrated series ever, and it's also one of their best, I would say. I talked about Valkyria Chronicles 4 in my Switch video last week. This first game is great. I played it on PS3. I picked this one up because I played it on PS3, but it doesn't have trophies on PS3. So I thought maybe I'd play through it again on PlayStation 4. I got this on sale really cheap. And then I just never ended up playing through it again on PS4. But you can skip 2 and 3. 3 didn't even come out in the United States. They don't have much to do with the original series. But these games are awesome. Really great strategy RPGs with a really unique art style. And they play fantastically. You can get these games for like dirt cheap. I just over on my Twitter retweeted. I don't know if it's still valid on Switch. Or it was on Switch or PS4. I don't remember. It was like $15. You can get 1 and 4 in like a pack together or something like that. And these games are fantastic. Highly recommended. Whew, all right. So after an hour, that is my PS4 collection video. I got to somehow figure out how to get these collection videos long or shorter because they're killing me. But if you stuck all the way to the end, please leave a comment down below because I don't know how you could do that. But let me know of any PS4 games you think I should pick up. Leave them down, your recommendations down in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I think next week I'm going to do a tour of my game room, which has, I own over 2,000 games, so it should be interesting. And it's definitely changed a lot from last year. So look out for that. I'll probably do a Q&A in the following, before the end of the year. So yeah, look out for all that stuff. Follow me on Twitter at ObjoGaming, and I will see you next time.